What's going on, everyone? This is Julian and I hope you all are doing well, and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at some Great League battles that were done in the Jungle Cup. And the Jungle Cup is a very interesting limited meta with the following types that are allowed. They are normal, grass, electric, poison, ground, flying, bug, and dark type Pokemon. And there are two notable bans here, Gligar and also Galarian Stunfisk. So with that in mind, this is the team that I'm running. It is actually not a team that I built, but a team that was built by a fellow content creator, Home Slice Henry. He is a very talented battler and also a great shoutcaster as well. And definitely feel free to check out his content. I think he puts out some amazing content. So the team he is running is a Skarmory and then a classic double Mudbois backline. In this case, the Mudbois are Quagsire and Unova and Stunfisk. So the team he ran is actually a little bit different than the one I'm running because I do not have a Shadow Quagsire built. But I would say if you do want to run this team, I highly recommend building the Shadow Quagsire just because the damage output will be a lot better than the normal Quagsire. And then for the Unova Stunfisk, I am not running the Mudshot moveset, but I am running the Thundershock fast move instead. I feel like Thundershock will give much more consistent damage, especially against the flyers, which will definitely be resisting Mudshot. So if you are going to be running this team, definitely feel free to choose whichever one suits your preference very well. But in this case, I chose to run Thundershock instead of Mudshot. But I think both perform equally well depending on what you want to cover in the back. So that is a team. As I mentioned before, classic ABB style team. The Quagsire is used as a safe swap here in this case to draw out any grass types so that Unova and Stunfisk can run free in the back. And I felt like Unova Stunfisk is actually a great Pokemon here to use in this meta. Definitely core breaks a lot of teams and has very good coverage against most of this meta. So it is definitely very underrated, I think, and also quite bulky as well. So you'll definitely have no problem surviving and tanking a bunch of hits here. And of course, Skarmory. We know Skarmory is one of the better flyers here in this format. The only thing you'll really struggle against is something like Talonflame or the Waters, and etc., and Lantern. And as mentioned, Quagsire is great as well. Definitely spammier with Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb if you choose to run Mud Bomb, but I definitely prefer Stone Edge for coverage. So that is, again, the reasoning behind this team. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and finish the commentary for the rest of this first battle here. So now we have the Unova Stunfisk up against a Talonflame. And this is a pretty decent matchup here. I am starting to run a little bit low on health. So I do throw on bad timing, unfortunately. I throw in the middle of an Incinerate, so the Incinerate did sneak through. And but that's fine. The Talonflame is low enough that the Discharge will definitely be killing from that range. Hopping into battle number 2, we have Skarmory on the lead up against a Lantern. So this is a terrible lead, of course. What I'm going to be doing is going to be safe swapping right away into my Quagsire, and I draw out a Trevenant. So this is exactly what I wanted to do here. And I'm going to go straight for the Stone Edge. Just want to get some nice chip damage here up against this Trevenant and see what they want to do. So they let it go, which is fine. And I am definitely going to be letting this go from my end here. There's no reason for me to try to flip switch and going down shields. So that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this go and then wait the timer a little bit and then come back in with the Skarmory. So I'm going to be waiting out the clock a little bit, then I'm going to come back in with Skarmory. I'm going to go ahead and eat the Shadow Ball here that the Trevenant is going to be throwing. That's perfectly fine. Health on the Skarmory is definitely not important because of the Lantern that's in the back still. So I'm going to go ahead and let the Shadow Ball go. Perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and now throw a Brave Bird here against this Lantern. I do want to chip this Lantern a little bit before I bring in my Unova Stunfisk. So I chip it with the Brave Bird, and then I'm going to dip into the Unova Stunfisk here and see what my opponent wants to do. And they have a Talonflame in the back, which is nice. So I'm going to throw a couple more Discharges here, and Thundershocks here, actually. And then I'm going to fire off the Discharge right there. And then this is going to be getting the Talonflame low. And I am going to I'm going to consider shielding here, but I actually don't because I know I can take a flame charge fine. It's the secondary flame charges I do have to start worrying about, and the buffed incinerate damage here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw 2 Thunder Shocks and then throw the Discharge there on good timing. This is going to be knocking out the Talonflame, and all that's left is the Lantern here. And now is where I'm going to have to start shielding because my Unova Stunfisk is starting to get very low on health. So I am going to have to shield all the Surfs that are coming in here. And I'm going to throw a Mud Bomb right here. This is their 4th Spark before they get to the 5th one, which is enough for a Surf. And now the Lantern is going to have to start shielding here. So at this point, all I need to do is make it to 2 more Mud Bombs. But in the meantime, I am going to catch this move here on the Skarmory. So the Lantern is going to be throwing a Surf, and they correctly undercharge, and they do get 1 Spark worth of damage through. So this is good for me. All I need to do now at this point is once again just build up to 2 Mud Bombs, and this game is basically over. I'm going to be grabbing a shield from this first Mud Bomb here, and then I just need 1 more Thunder Shock and the Mud Bomb to come through, and that is going to be more than enough here to take out the Lantern. So this is a very good game. It came down pretty close to the wire here at the end. So great game. Well played to my opponent. And in this specific set, I was able to get a 4-1, which is pretty good. Hopping into this next battle, once again, we have another Lantern lead. So same thing as before. Going to go ahead and pivot. I mean, this time the opponent brings out an Abomasnow. So what I'm going to do here is do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Aqua Tail. Just to draw shield or hopefully just bait here. And they do shield, which is nice for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the next Stone Edge here. And the Abomasnow is still continuing to farm. So this is fine. I'm going to let this move go, whether it's an Energy Ball or not. So that's perfectly fine. They do let this one go, which is okay. And at this point, I'm perfectly okay with letting my Quagsire go down. But in hindsight, I might have been able to just commit to the farm down here, or commit to the Aqua Tail and shielded, but that's okay. I wanted the shield advantage here just to see what the opponent has in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and come back in with Skarmory here. I'm going to go ahead and eat this move. It is just a Weather Ball. It'll do a little bit of damage here to the Skarmory, and I'm just hoping that 2 shield Unova Stunfisk can handle whatever is in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and now swap out my Stunfisk, and they have a Vigoroth in the back. So this isn't too bad. Pretty neutral most of the time here throughout this match. So I'm going to be going ahead and throwing a Discharge here. This is going to be doing a little bit more damage than the Mud Bomb. But in hindsight, they're about the same energy, so I am going to be throwing the Discharge. Unfortunately, though, I do lose the CMP tie or CAP tie, and I will have to start shielding a Body Slam. In hindsight, I might have just been able to no-shield the first one and just tank that one. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and now throw a Discharge once again. This is going to be getting the Vigoroth low, and at this point I'm going to, again, no shield here, but I will, I know that the move that would hit the most for damage is going to be the Surf from the Lantern. So I'm going to go ahead and try to commit to the Thunder Shock down here, but unfortunately I do have to now start going down with shield, and this is actually not good for me at all. Now the opponent is going to go ahead and come back in with the Lantern. Although I do make a mistake here, I pivoted back into the Skarmory for some reason. But that's fine. But that's okay. You learn from your mistakes. And I realized that at this point, I do need at least 3 Mud Bombs to be able to KO both the Lantern and the Vigoroth. And I just do not have enough health left on the Unova Stunfisk. And I am also down shields. So this was definitely a misplay from me. What I could have done is I potentially could have no-shielded just the Skarm or the Vigoroth's Body Slam, the first one. I think that would have been a much better play here. So unfortunately for me, my Unova Stunfisk is too low, and the Surf will take me out. Hopping into the next battle here, we have Skarmory on the lead versus a Mudbois. So this is a pretty neutral matchup overall. It does definitely, it's really neutral overall. So this is fine. I'm going to stay here to start, and then I will eventually pivot into one of my Mudbois to see what the opponent will have in the back. So that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. Just going to be the Dark Pulse. It'll do a good chunk of damage here to the Mudbois, and I'm going to go ahead and fire off one Steel Wing and then go for the Brave Bird. And at this point, I am then going to pivot into my Quagsire and see what my opponent wants to do. So they're going to stay in a little bit and fire off some energy. Perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. It's only going to be another Dark Pulse. And then we'll see what my opponent wants to do here. So they're going to go ahead and pivot into their own Whiscash. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and now fire off Aqua Tail. Quagsire with an energy lead is going to be pretty threatening to most of the meta. And then I'm going to go ahead and fire off one more Mud Shot and then throw another Aqua Tail. As you can see, it's really spammy and it really gets to these Aqua Tails very quickly. So the Whiscash is already in the yellow health here, and I'm going to be able to tank this move from the Whiscash. Mud Bomb or Scald, that'll be fine. They do go for the Mud Bomb, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Aqua Tail here on the CAP tie. This is going to be doing some okay damage here to the Whiscash. Won't really KO it just yet. Oh, and it is a CAP tie, and they did have another Mud Bomb store. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go. This is perfectly fine. And I am going to come in with a Skarmory, obviously, because the Unova and Stunfisk does not want to see this Whiscash at all. So I'm going to wait the timer, then I'm going to come in with the Skarmory here. And I'm going to be able to absorb whatever move that the Whiscash throws, but luckily they don't throw it in time. They are able to, I'm able to Steel Wing down the Whiscash, and then the Mudbois is going to come back in, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a Sky Attack right away. So at this point, I am now going to go ahead and pivot into the Stunfisk, and I do successfully sneak the Thundershock through as they throw their move, which is nice for me. And they go for a Dark Pulse, which is perfectly okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and Thundershock down, and the opponent does decide to concede the match. So good game. Well played to my opponent. Hopping into the next battle here, we have Skarmory on the lead versus an Umbreon. So once again, another neutral matchup. So this is again where we want to do is just Brave Bird and dip into your Quagsire here. So I'm going to go ahead and tank this move. It's just going to be a foul play from the Umbreon. Won't do a lot of damage here, but I'm going to go ahead and farm up a couple more Steel Wings, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw a Brave Bird right here. And then at this point, I am once again going to be pivoting into the Quagsire just to see what my opponent wants to do here. And I'm going to throw a couple more, one more Steel Wing, and I did attempt to catch a foul play on the Quagsire, but I still ended up catching it anyway. So that's perfectly fine. The Umbreon's going to throw the move, and then they do pivot into a Lantern. So this is where having Mud Bomb would have been nice here against the Lantern. But that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Stone Edge here, and it does look like it is a CAP tie. So that's okay. And again, they're going to fire off a Surf. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. This is going to be doing some okay damage here to my Quagsire, but they're definitely going to have to throw another move here at this point. And then I'm going to be committing here to the Stone Edge once again. This is not really going to be enough yet to KO the Lantern, but it will do some nice damage here, as you can see. And the Lantern is going to have to throw here at this point, and I am going to let this go. This is perfectly fine. I am going to, just let this go, and I believe I start getting some farm on my Unova and Stunfisk. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Stunfisk and get 2 Thundershocks worth of energy here. And now my opponent comes in with an Alolan's Executor. So this is actually really bad because both of my moves are actually resistant up against this Executor. So I definitely do not want to be firing off a Discharge against this thing because it is double resisting the moves. So I'm going to be firing off the single resisted Mud Bomb instead. It still does chunk though because Alolan Executor is actually quite glassy. So that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and now let this move go. They need 2 moves to knock me out. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this game with the Skarmory. So that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and let them fire off their Seed Bombs here. No reason to keep the Stunfisk alive at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and let this go. And the Seed Bomb is going to be KOing the Unova and Stunfisk. And I'm just going to go ahead and commit to the stealing down. And now my opponent is going to be bringing back in the Umbreon. So at this point, though, their health is starting to get pretty low. So they are definitely going to have to start shielding. And I am going to be starting to shield as well here. So once again, I will be shielding this move from the Umbreon. It is going to be getting me pretty low. And I do recognize at this point that the moves that are going to be the most threatening here are going to be the moves from the Umbreon, because the Executor can only hit for resistant damages. But I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. It's not going to KO me just yet either, so that's fine. And I'm just going to be able to farm down the Executor here, and they realize that they cannot win and they concede the match. So great game, well played to my opponent. So that was the team. Like I said, it's a good ABB style team. A great one to climb, and also a pretty solid one and very easy to run overall. So that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to give this video a like and thumbs up. Any support will really help the channel to grow. And also, if you guys want to stay up to date with whatever videos I have coming up next, please feel free to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with the next videos that I have coming. And that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.